What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is Legitical Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date and keep you informed with everything that the government does. Now, earlier today, I was sitting there and I found myself in a conundrum, if you will. I'm like, just thinking about this. I read this story out and I'm like, what's going on here? This is crazy. I've been railing and screaming for months for Joe Biden to do something about the border. And then we get this. Biden rolls out migration order that aims to shut down asylum requests after months of anticipation. I see this and I'm like, it pisses me. It literally pissed me off. Hang on though. I've been screaming about this ever since I started this channel a few months ago. I've been railing and screaming, Joe Biden, do something about the border. Joe Biden gets up there and say, oh, we need legislative, Republicans need to do something. And I'm like, no, Trump done shit on the border. Trump had a very secure border. Of course, we still had people getting across the border, but it doesn't matter because at least he was trying. At least he was trying to build a fence. He was trying to stop these people from coming across the border. And Joe Biden has opened the doors up and just let people come across willy-nilly. Telling people to, hey, when you come across, make sure you claim asylum. And it's been outright insane. So now he's like, I'm going to do something about the border. Well, you know what? Now it pisses me off because now it's too little, too late. Now I can see exactly what the hell you're trying to do, Joe Biden. He's trying to go after independent voters because he's down in the polls. He's worried about losing. We covered that video not too long ago. Some Democrats are panicking over the polling numbers. Joe Biden needs to do something about it. So now he's going to be like, oh, I done something for the border. Yeah, well, it's too little, too late. We already know that millions of people have come across that southern border. They've attained their goal. They accomplished their mission. They've gotten the millions of people across that southern border. And we do know for a fact that when these people get counted on the census, it will give Democrat states, because that's the sanctuary states, and that's where these people go. As a matter of fact, Republicans were helping them do it by shipping them out of Texas to Democrat states, giving Democrats more power. It's like Republicans want to lose. But it's too little, too late. Like I said, Joe Biden's trying to do something on the border. This is all just a signal. He's not actually going to enforce this. Do you really believe after 3.5 years of Joe Biden just allowing anybody and everybody to come across that southern border, you think in the last few months of this term that he's going to all of a sudden become a border hawk and now he's going to stop all these people from coming across the border? Yeah. Guess again. This is all for political points. He's trying to woo some independent voters. He's been doing nothing but this since the beginning of the year, paying off student loan debt, and a litany of a whole bunch of other little bitty things to signal to his base, vote for me, y'all. Vote for me. And now he's shooting for independence. Well, guess what? It's not going to work. I really don't believe it. Americans can see that Republicans have been screaming about this border crisis for years now. And now he wants to do something about it right before election. Yeah, some people may be stupid, but they're not that stupid. They're going to see that this is just a political ploy. It's a strategy for them to get more power, to stay in power. Well, guess what? People are waking up. Donald Trump is a convicted felon. And he just blew the lid off of campaign funds. He just raised over $200 million after his conviction. Do you really think that the American people are actually like, no, we're not going to vote for Trump because he got convicted of some bullshit, by the way. That's not even to mention. Let's get into the story. President Joe Biden has unveiled plans to enact immediate significant restrictions on migrants seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border as the White House tries to neutralize immigration as a political liability ahead of the November election. At least the Associated Press is willing to admit that this is all for political points, that that's the only reason Joe Biden is doing it is because it is one of the main issues. They're basically telling you, the corporate press is saying, Joe Biden doesn't care about that southern border. He doesn't care about all the criminals that come across that southern border. He doesn't care about all the fentanyl that comes across that southern border. He just wants you to vote for him again. That's what the corporate press is telling you, not me. The White House on Tuesday detailed the long anticipated? Yeah, right. Now they're lying again. Like, well, we've been waiting for Joe Biden. Yeah. If that's what you mean, we've been waiting for Joe Biden to do something about the border because he's been telling Republicans to do something about the border when he is in charge of the border. Insane. The White House on Tuesday detailed the long-anticipated presidential proclamation signed by Biden. The order would bar migrants from being granted asylum when U.S. officials deem the southern border is overwhelmed. You see what I mean? You really think he's going to enforce this? They're even telling you he's not going to enforce this when they deem it's overwhelmed. Well, it's been overwhelmed for 3.5 years, and you haven't done nothing, have you? When you've been having this in your back pocket the entire time. People are fed up with this administration, and I'm tired of the corporate press lying about shit. The Democratic president has contemplated unilateral action for months, especially after the collapse of a bipartisan border security deal in Congress that most Republican lawmakers rejected at the behest of the presumptive GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump. Nope, Trump didn't have nothing to do with it. Sure, he came out in opposition to it, but Republicans saw the writing on the wall. It wasn't a border security deal. It was codification of illegal immigration. Up to and including 4,999 migrants per day across that southern border. And he only has the option to shut it down. That's what that bill was. In other words, Donald Trump, if reelected, would be forced to allow 5,000 migrants a day across that border before he could take action to shut it down and saying, we're being flooded, we're being overwhelmed, we can't handle this. That is insane. That is the Democrats turning our democracy into a tyrannical, authoritarian dictatorship. That is exactly what they're doing, giving you the facade of freedom. It's all bullshit. And I tell you why it's bullshit. Because the federal government, the Biden administration, doesn't care about you. They don't care about Congress. They don't care about the Supreme Court. They've proved that time and time again. Check this out. Justice Department's deep fake concerns over Biden interview audio highlights AI misuse worries. This is just another excuse for the Biden administration to give the middle finger to oversight and say, screw you, we're not going to comply with oversight. You think we're corrupt? Oh well, figure it out on your own. This is insane. This is unprecedented what the Biden administration is doing with oversight. That is the whole purpose of our republic. For God's sakes, Congress makes the laws. The executive branch enforces those laws. The Supreme Court litigates any differences between the two, right? So when one body refuses to comply with the other two, what is that? Let me know down in the comments. I know what I call it. I call it a tyrannical dictatorship, like I said. This is just nuts. The Justice Department says it's concerned that releasing audio of President Joe Biden's interview with a special counsel about his handling of classified documents could lead to deep fakes that trick Americans. What? Are you kidding me? You know, you can go to, I believe it's Midjourney. I could be wrong about this. I forget, but there's several apps out there. You can take a speech from anybody. Doesn't matter who. You can take a speech. 30 seconds is all you need. You take that, you upload it into the program. It analyzes the voice, speech recognition, and all that stuff. And then you can make that say anything you want to. A lot of people have a lot of fun with it. You hear deepfakes on TikTok and YouTube Shorts all the time. You hear this weird audio like, oh, I can't believe he said that. Well, guess what? He didn't say that. You know, when you hear some audio and it doesn't sound quite human, when they're not quite talking right, yeah, that's what that is. You can do this with anybody's voice. So the fact that they're saying that they're worried about those audio tapes being used in this manner, that is a big middle finger to every single American out there. It's another excuse for them to deny oversight and give the middle finger to Congress. Congress is there for a reason. It's to ensure the executive branch doesn't become tyrannical. Like I said, the executive branch is refusing oversight. Outright refusing oversight. The Oversight Committee wants the tapes. They want to hear the audio. Has nothing to do with making a deep fake. They want to hear that audio. You know why the Biden administration doesn't want to give that audio up? Yeah, because they're the 25th Amendment. Because they will outright know that Joe Biden is mentally incapable of doing his damn job. Right? Robert Hur even said it. He's a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Quote unquote. Right? Well, if he's an elderly man with poor memory, do you think he is in any position to be in the toughest position, the most stressful job in America? No. And that's what the 25th Amendment is for, folks. It's the latest argument by the administration to fight the release of the audio tape, which Republicans allege the Democratic president is trying to suppress because he doesn't want voters to hear it. That's not an allegement. That's exactly what's happening. He doesn't want voters to hear exactly how messed up his brain is, how poor of a memory he actually has, how utterly incompetent the Biden administration is. These people are insane, and it pisses me off to no end that they're actually telling the Oversight Committee to go screw yourself. We're not giving this up. The admission highlights the impact the AI manipulated disinformation could have on voting and the limits of the federal government's power to combat it. A conservative group that is suing to obtain the audio says the argument is a red herring. Yeah, it absolutely is a red herring. It's also outright bullshit. It's just another excuse, and the Biden administration has given several excuses. Their first excuse was, no, we're not. No, you don't need it. No, there's no reason. That was their first excuse. You know, it's really not up to the Biden administration to dictate terms for oversight. It is not up to them whatsoever. They are to comply with oversight. That is what oversight is for. Once again, like I said, violating the Constitution, which the Biden administration seems to love to do because they violated so many amendments in the Constitution, I can't even keep track of them. For God's sakes, they violated the First Amendment in a very egregious way, then fought tooth and nail to continue to do it, and they probably still do till this day. Fought the Supreme Court to continue to shut down American voices on social media platforms. Like I said, I love stressing this point so much because, once again, it's one of the most egregious acts any administration can do is to violate millions of Americans' First Amendment rights, right? Like, I used to be on the side of, oh, well, that's a private company. If they don't want you saying something, or you violate the rules that they clearly laid out, then that's on you, buddy. You know, that the government ain't got nothing to do with that. The First Amendment ain't got nothing to do with that. Well, you know what? When we found out that it was the government that was actually contacting the social media companies and saying, hey, you need to shut this person down. Yeah, then we have a big problem here because now it's not the social media platform that's actually banning these people. It's the federal government. The Biden administration is shutting down voices, shutting down opinions that they don't like, then calling it mis or disinformation. That's bullshit. We know it's bullshit because a lot of doctors, like in the video I covered yesterday, doctors giving out correct information, right? Like, we found out later that their information that they gave out ended up being true. They were banned from social media platforms for giving out truth. Yeah, shut down by the federal government for telling the truth. Once again, anybody that gets behind Joe Biden is an outright fool or they're evil. One of the two. You pick. Can't be just, oh, well, I'm just an average everyday person. No, you're ignorant, very ignorant, and you're a fool for being ignorant and voting for somebody who is outright evil. I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one, y'all. So I think I'm going to leave it right here. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Is it too little too late for the border stuff? Like, do you really think this is genuine that Joe Biden just had an epiphany one day and decided, oh, well, I need to shut down the border. This is a problem. It's been a problem for almost 4 years. Sorry. And this whole excuse with the deepfake BS, knowing the federal government knows that there's apps out there that you can absolutely take anybody's voice and make it say whatever the hell you want to. They know that. So, congressional investigators getting the audio tape of Biden doesn't do, that's just, it's a non sequitur because that makes no logical sense whatsoever for them to say that. Makes zero logical sense. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.